Welcome to the Airframe Mech channel. Hey, if you're grinding for your airframe and power plant exams, or maybe you're in the middle of your A&P classes, then this explainer is built just for you. We're going to help you absolutely ace your oral and practical tests. Today, we are digging deep into the ground safety knowledge that you have to know cold before you ever step on that hangar floor for your exam.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Take a good hard look at this picture. I mean, it seems like a normal day at the office, right? But this one image, it is just crawling with hidden dangers. We're talking about high pressure systems, all kinds of hazardous energy, chemical risks, the whole shebang. So in this explainer, we're going to break down these hazards piece by piece, starting with you and then moving out to all those unseen forces you're going to be working with.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to kick things off with your first line of defense. Then we'll tackle those invisible threats, hazardous energy and gases under pressure. After that, we'll learn how to decode chemical dangers, and I promise I'll give you a super simple memory hook at the end to lock it all in for your exam. Let's do this.
All right, let's get into it. We're starting with the single most important piece of safety equipment in the entire hangar, and that's you. Seriously, your personal safety is the bedrock for everything else we're going to talk about.
Now, I know this seems like total common sense, but listen, this is your absolute first line of defense, and an examiner, they will bust you on this in a heartbeat. Closed-toe shoes are a must. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And trust me on this next one, wear clothes you don't care about, because between things like Skydrol and battery acid, your favorite hoodie doesn't stand a chance.
Okay, now things get really serious. Check out this chart. At 90 decibels, that's about as loud as a passing truck. You've got a full 8 hours before you start doing damage. But crank it up to 110 decibels, like a chainsaw, and that safe time just plummets to 30 minutes. Now think about a jet engine at takeoff. We're talking 140 decibels. That's not just loud, that is physically painful, and it can cause permanent hearing loss in seconds. This is exactly why your hearing protection is never, ever optional.
Okay, now let's talk about the dangers you can't see. These are the different forms of energy that can cause, and I'm not kidding, life-altering injuries if you don't give them the respect they deserve. You have to learn to see these forces before you even touch the aircraft. The best way to think about this is kinetic energy is the obvious threat, right? It's the spinning prop you can see and hear. But potential energy, that's the silent killer. It's that stored-up energy just waiting inside a compressed landing gear strat or a hydraulic accumulator or a wound-up spring. It sits there, quiet as a mouse, until it's released. And that release can be unbelievably violent. Here is a huge takeaway you absolutely have to remember. It's not the voltage that gets you, it's the current. Electricity is a double threat. First, the shock can make your muscles contract, causing you to clamp down on a live wire or get thrown off a ladder. But the real danger is the current flowing through your body. Even a tiny, tiny amount of current, if it crosses your heart, is enough to stop it for good. And this chart, wow, this just illustrates the danger perfectly. Look at the bottom axis. That's current in milliamps. Now follow it over to that red zone, the AC4 zone. That's the point where irreversible effects, like your heart fibrillating, become a real probability. And notice, that zone starts at just 50 to 100 milliamps. That's a tiny fraction of what's in a normal wall outlet. It just doesn't take much at all.
And this is why lockout/tagout is completely non-negotiable. This is not a friendly suggestion. It's a life-saving procedure. Before you ever start work, you have to follow that maintenance manual to de-energize the system and isolate it. That lock and that tag, they're the only thing stopping someone from accidentally flipping a switch and turning the power back on. Remember this, your lock, your tag, your life. All right, let's move on and talk about things that go bang. The hangar is literally filled with compressed gases. I mean, everything from the air hose you use for your tools, to the high-pressure nitrogen and oxygen cylinders, to the aircraft tires themselves. Every single one is a little pocket of some serious potential energy. So on the left, you've got a simple air hose. Even just a leaky connection is a risk, and you never point compressed air at anyone. But on the right, that's a whole different level. That's a high-pressure gas cylinder. If that bottle falls over and that valve shears off, the whole tank becomes a 2,000 psi unguided missile, a missile that can and has punched right through concrete walls. Okay, everybody, get your mental highlighter out because this is a classic O&P question. I can almost guarantee you'll be asked about this. Your examiner is going to expect you to know this specific, violent chemical reaction. Petroleum products, grease, oil, you name it, when you mix them with high-pressure oxygen, they don't just burn. They can spontaneously and explosively combust. Always, always use oxygen-safe tools and lubricants, period.
So on the left is what you see on the aircraft, but on the right, that's the reason this is so dangerous. See, aircraft tires are super stiff, so they use these two-piece split-rim wheels. And those bolts you see, they are the only things holding back hundreds of pounds of pressure per square inch. If one of those fails during inflation, it's catastrophic. That's why you always service tires inside a reinforced inflation cage. No exceptions.
All right, next up, we're going to decode the secret language of chemical safety, that little diamond label you see on every chemical container in the hangar. Understanding this NFPA 704 diamond is crucial, not just for your O&P, but for keeping you safe every single day.
Think of this diamond as a quick cheat sheet for any chemical. It tells you 4 things at a glance. Blue is for health hazards, red is for flammability, yellow tells you about instability, and white is for any special hazards. The numbers range from 0, which means no hazard, all the way up to 4, which means extreme danger. Let's break them down. So let's start with blue, which is all about health. A 4 here is your absolute worst-case scenario. It means a very brief exposure could be deadly. Think of something like hydrogen cyanide. A 1, on the other hand, is just a minor irritant like turpentine. Simple rule: the higher the number, the more you need to protect yourself. Next up is red, for flammability. This one is all about flash point. That's the temperature where a liquid gives off enough vapor to catch fire. A 4 is extremely flammable, like propane, which can easily ignite at normal room temperatures. Something with a 2, like diesel fuel, has to be heated up quite a bit before it'll burn. The yellow diamond warns you about instability or reactivity. A 4 here is for stuff that can literally detonate at normal temperatures, like nitroglycerin. A 1 means it's pretty stable unless you heat it up. This diamond basically tells you how gently you need to treat the chemical. And finally, we have the white diamond. This is for specific warnings that don't fit anywhere else. The one you absolutely have to know is the W with a line through it. That means it reacts dangerously with water. Throwing water on that kind of fire could cause a massive explosion. You'll also see symbols like OX for an oxidizer or COR for a corrosive. So, I know, that was a lot of information. How in the world are you supposed to remember all of it, especially when you've got an examiner staring you down during your practical test? Don't worry, we've got a really simple memory hook that pulls all of these core ideas together for you. Here's the phrase you need to burn into your brain. When it comes to safety, don't be cheap. It's an easy word to remember, and each one of those letters stands for a core safety category we just went over. This is your new mental checklist. And here's what it stands for. C is for chemicals. Know your NFPA diamond, read the safety data sheets. H is for hazardous energy. Respect those kinetic, potential, and electrical forces. E is for equipment. Your personal protective equipment. Your boots, your glasses, your hearing protection. A is for air and gases. Handle those compressed cylinders and tires with extreme caution. And finally, P is for procedure. Always follow the manual, especially for something as critical as lockout-tagout. Just run through the cheap checklist in your head and you'll nail any safety question that comes your way. Thanks so much for watching this explainer from Airframe Mech. Look, a true safety mindset isn't just about memorizing rules to pass a test, it's a way of seeing the world to protect yourself and everyone around you. If this helped you get one step closer to earning that A&P ticket, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button for more content to help you on your journey. Now get out there, be safe, and good luck on your exams.